Take a look at that. Take a look at that. Isn't that nice? That's what they're going to be wearing on Saturday against Mississippi State. Sorry, the advertisements didn't run properly. OBS, I had to add a whole bunch of stuff, and I forgot to turn the volume up, so my bad. But that's what they're going to – look at that. Isn't that sexy? Oh, my gosh. All you military people, you got to appreciate this because you know we appreciate you. Salute. That is just sick. And then it gets even cooler. They're bringing back the American flag hog. They haven't worn that in 10 years. I thought they were going to sport these on the 20-year anniversary weekend. They didn't. Oh, my gosh, that's awesome. So awesome by the University of Arkansas. All right. I'm going to try and get all this straightened out. We're having some technical difficulties. 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on? Welcome, Razorback fans, SEC fans everywhere. Welcome to the one and only Pig Trail Network YouTube channel. I'm Ty Hudson. Yeah, audio was not working on those advertisements. OBS, just so fickle sometimes, like Hog fans can be. A little fickle. All right. So we know the Razorbacks. I knew it was coming. Santana, or I've been pronouncing it wrong this whole time. I've been calling him Santegna, the number one player in the state of Arkansas. That's what I've heard him call him on the radio, and I'm like, okay. They haven't been corrected up until this point. Well, I mean, that's been a little while ago since I heard them say that, but so I've been calling him Santegna. I guess it's pronounced Santana. Anyways, he committed. We talked about it Wednesday, like all these flips, all the crystal ball predictions. I had people telling me for months, even after he switched his commitment from A&M to Oregon, that dude, just don't let go of the rope yet. It ain't over. They are aggressively pursuing him, and it turned out to be true. They didn't give up. And shout out to the University of Arkansas, to the Razorbacks, to that coaching staff for staying on top of him, because the number one player in the state of Arkansas is a Hog. And I'm wearing Fayetteville again. This is the only high school shirt that I own. I will wear everyone's high school shirt, assuming I can find a fat guy size. I'll wear it. I'll put it on. Except the Red Dogs. I don't think I could ever bring myself to wearing a Red Dog shirt. I don't know if I could do it. Now, if my kids go there one day, that might be a different story, which they could. I live in Springdale. And Fayetteville's on the road tonight at Harbor. If you guys are in town, if you're up here for the game or you're coming up here tonight, 7 p.m., I'll be there. I'm hard to miss. If you guys want to chill with me, I'll be there at Harbor, 7 p.m. kickoff. That's my plan, is to be there. So I'm excited about that. While sporting your Fayetteville Purple Dog shirt, man, I didn't technically I didn't graduate from Fayetteville High East Campus. I graduated from Fayetteville High West Campus, but I am alum. Played there under Mike Adams, Zach Clark, Cody Clark, Michael Brizell. If those names ring any bells? Guys that were upperclassmen when I was a sophomore. Those were some names for some of you OGs who remember those names. Michael Brizell was clearly one of the best athletes on the team, and it wasn't even close. It's crazy now because it's like Fayetteville every year, or about every other year, they have 2 or 3, FBS or maybe at least a couple of SEC worthy players on their roster, and that's and the same for Bentonville. Bentonville's always been pretty good, even before Barry Lenny Sr. took over the program. Bentonville was a pretty respectable program, but they weren't spitting out prospects like they have been the last 10, 15 years. So it just goes to show you the boom in Northwest Arkansas has been real. Thanks to Walmart, Tyson, George's Chicken, J.B. Hunt, all these transplants. I mean, you got a kid that's committed to Arkansas right now that is quite literally a transplant from California. Certain tackle that plays in Bentonville. So, yeah. All right. I'll bring the Maker's Mark. Yeah, what's up, man? Shahid Mustafa, how you doing, my man? Flying blind. He's letting that chat fill up, guys. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's why we take that few minutes to let chat fill up. It's funny when people come in and after the fact, people that aren't here live, they bitch about, well, those first 4 minutes are just so, fast forward. I mean, how hard is that? You just skip forward. That's all you do. I mean, I would prefer that you didn't because I've got some wonderful sponsors that I want you guys to go check out. So speaking of, let me give them a shout out here. PTN sponsors, Direct Service Overhead, Garage Door Company. They were my first sponsors, and Travis and the boys. They do good work. They will repair or replace your garage door. They do fantastic work, and they operate out of Central Arkansas. I think they operate really like anywhere where there's a legit population. They will go service. I don't know. Ask them. Call them up. Their number is provided for you in the link that's also provided for you down below in the description box. And, of course, Stated Apparel, who has unique shirts just for you from State Pride. Funny, sassy, sarcastic, and pop culture. Our shirts are printed on premium material that will leave you feeling and looking great. Our stores offer something for everyone. Their stores offer something for everyone, and their link is provided for you down below in the description box as well. All their shirts, again, soft, made right here in the beautiful natural state of Arkansas. You guys know how I be. I'm gonna rep local people. I'm gonna rep the locals, Arkansans. I'm not interested. Go away, Apple. I don't have time for you. Psh, Microsoft, yeah, because they got me on speed dial. Not really. But really though, if I had the option, I'm gonna stick in good companies too. And these guys, Direct Service Overhead and Stated Apparel, everything I've heard about them, and someone commented in chat just a little bit ago, the girls that run the store do a great job. So shout out to Stated Apparel and Direct Service Overhead. By the way, I am now what was it? I sent Travis the. I got hang on, let me find it here on my phone. Congratulations, you're a top fan of Direct Service Overhead Garage Door Company. You've earned a top fan badge by being one of their most active followers on Facebook. So, I'm in tight with my sponsors. If you know anyone who's looking for sponsorship or want to get their business out in the open and they want to appeal to a local market, I'm your guy. Not very many Razorback YouTubers who are taking on sponsors. Shout out to Patreon supporters. We did not break 20 like we thought we were going to. And this is why I don't publish names until I get the receipt that that it went through. Someone, I guess, the day before backed out. So we ended up with 19. The names on the description list are not updated, but you guys you saw the updated list right. No, not there. Hang on. Right there. You see him there. We lost one. We added I think 2, and then we lost 2. I don't know, but there's the list. So yeah. Awesome. 19's still cool though. I want to break 20. That's my goal. Break 20. And then we'll just build from there. Okay. Friday show notes. God bless you, Patreon supporters, sponsors, and of course you guys here in the live show. Remember to like and share the content. That's key, man. Hitting that like button. What's up, Ty? What's up, Eagle? How you doing, man? Eagle's our newest mod on the Discord. So if you want to join Discord, that link is also in the description box. But he is our latest mod, and we're gonna add more because we're now over 300. We are gonna do score predictions. Dragon Slayers are getting a little impatient. He's getting a little impatient. He wants them now. This is the thread of the day. This is the question, and I didn't realize that when so I deleted the old threads, and I didn't realize that I thought it would archive them because you can look at the archive of threads. No, it permanently deletes them. So all of you who voted on the attendance or guessed your attendance, those numbers are gone. So I don't know. Maybe someone screen capped. So the question, what's your score? And this is for those of you who are watching later or watching, after the fact. And for those of you in the live chat, or you can even you can answer in Discord on that thread if you want. Your score prediction, and then it's a two-parter. Sam Pittman made it it's well known now. He's made it known. Dominic Johnson, it looks like he's going to be your starting running back. I was on Mark Rogers' show yesterday, and I talked about that. I was pretty excited about it. If you get a chance, go watch Mark Rogers, the voice of college football on YouTube. And I talked about it. Got a little energetic. It was a good, fast-paced interview. I hope I don't get someone's going to come through and be like, Ty, zero about this, that, or the other. Like someone said the comment they made in one of my shows about my knowledge of the defensive line. You have zero knowledge. Your unwarranted pessimism. Okay. So what are Dom John stats tomorrow, and what's your prediction? So either way, however you want to do it. What do you think? Hawes says he's got Arkansas winning 34-28. Crowd gives some help. DJ gets 128 carries. I think it was Hawes who said they ought to have 70,000 in Fayetteville. I'm telling you, man, if they break 65,000 in that attendance, which is possible, it's just that things are cooling down. We know it's, some people want to deer hunt. They want to, or they want to stay in the confines of their home where it's a steady 72 degrees and they don't have to worry about fighting the crowd. I get it. It's that time of year. But I hope they get 65,000 in that stadium. One more 24 says 31-20 pigs. That's going to trigger some people, by the way. You're not supposed to say Arky, A-R-K-Y. That apparently is a sin, and you can't call them the pigs. That's not my rule. I don't write the rules. That's just what they say. 12 carries for 80. KJ's arm steals the show. It's possible. Dante Marine, 38-35 Hogs, and then he's got DJ with Dom John. 13 carries, 78 yards, rush for 300 plus. So Mississippi State's like the number 4 run defense in the country. If they break 200, you better pat yourselves on the back. 15 carries, 110 yards, says Big Donnelly, 42-41 Hogs. He likes a shootout. Ooh, damn pig. I'm going to say, Big Man Ross says, I'm going to say 22 carries for 165 yards. Hogs win 42-35. And then Austin BF 70-25 says 31-21 Hogs. Dom goes wild with 18 carries, 120 and a tutty. And that's another thing people get triggered by when you say tutty. I'll say it. I don't give a damn. I think he ends up with a tutty. I mean, here's the thing, too. You got to wonder about Dominic Johnson. How much film do you really have on this cat? He's averaging, 3 carries a game? We know he's a bigger physical back, and something I noticed early in the season was I loved how he just falls forward. It does not matter if it's a big 350-pound defensive lineman trying to deal with him. He still finds a way to just fall forward. That's just – you don't coach that. That's just something you do. That shows he's got some power. I'm loving it, man. Dominic Johnson he's been a surprise this year. I never would have thought we'd be sitting here talking coming out of the bye week going in against Mississippi State. Yeah, I think Dominic Johnson should get all the carries. I never thought that. That's why he's on my thumbnail today. He's taking the world by surprise. Yeah. So where are we at on the job openings? Were there any more job openings? Did we have any more? I don't know where those links are in my Discord. I can't find them. They must be on one of these other show. I have different channels on Discord. So I have a sponsor read, then I have Monday show, Wednesday show, Friday show, post-game show. If you guys are in our Discord, for those of you that are there, there's also a recruiting channel that I just added. It says Football Crutin'. It's got all the stars according to 247.com. So, of course, Isaiah Santana, number 1 player in the state of Arkansas, he's on the top of that list. Quincy McAdoo. All of them. They're all there. Remember to share the content, subscribe if you guys haven't already, and make sure you smash the like. Smash the like button. All right, scrolling up here, get caught up on chat for just a second. Yo, Ty, best lunch spot in Fayetteville. I'll be there tomorrow. Oh, Josh. I used to say like Wright's Barbecue. I'm always going to say Wright's Barbecue, right? But if you don't want to go, I mean, not that it's far, but you're venturing into Springdale when you pull into Johnson off the main road there. If you don't want to go there, there's Whole Hog Cafe in Fiesta Square. There's a Chuck E. Cheese. If you got kids, there's a Chuck E. Cheese right next to it where the old Hastings used to be. Rest in peace, Hastings. So many good memories. I think the Big Lots is still there too. If you want to grab some last second like things that you need for the game, whatever you're allowed to carry into the stadium, if you need anything. That's what I love about Fiesta Square. You got the theater that's still there, thank God. I don't know, man. I mean, Fayetteville's become so commercial now. Like there's not Slim's, even Slim's Chicken, which by the way, the very first Slim's Chicken is right there on 71 Business in Fayetteville, across the from the old, kind of next to the old Razorback 6 cinema where the old cinema used to be, where I snuck in to watch Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and one of the Lord of the Rings movies. I don't know. Sassy's, these are all barbecue joints. I'm still a fan of Jim's Razorback Pizza. I know that's like a homer take. I don't care. I'm a fan of Jim's Razorback. But everything else is just very commercial. Everything there is very, it's like what Fayetteville has, everyone else has. And I hate to say that. There are others. There's Herman's. I'm trying to think on my feet here. What else? Oh, my gosh. This shows you, too, I don't get out very much. I really don't. I don't leave my corner of Springdale very often at all. That was even before the pandemic. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing for you other than what I just mentioned. A lot of the good local places, I'm not even sure if they're still open, some of them. But, yeah, I mean, there's a few. I'm a big fan of noodles. Love noodles. I don't know if you'd want to eat that for lunch, though. That's probably more of a dinner place, and not everyone has a Noodles anymore. Noodles is I love noodles. I'll take noodles over anywhere else. Kobe's is really good. That's a chain, but it's good. So I don't know. Going to be in Fayetteville for my first Razorback game on the hill. Congrats, Carson Moreto. That's awesome, man. It is my bachelor party weekend, getting married in 15 days. Congrats, Carson. Congrats. That's awesome, man. I've been married since 2006 to the same wonderful woman. 2 kids together, and lived in this house since 2009 on the east side of Springdale. It's you got to make it work, right? You got to make it work. Looking forward to more Dom John reps, absolutely. Mike and them. Texas Tech is begging Leach to come back. I've heard that, and I've heard too. Was it TCU had maybe approached Deion Sanders? Who would have thought, man? Who would have thought? Oh, my goodness. I'll be at the MSU game tomorrow. Oh, another one. Awesome. The last time, which was my first Hog game, we were smoked by Western Kentucky, so hopefully this is more enjoyable. Man. Harrison also says, I really enjoy your content, Ty. Very informative. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Hogs 38. Freaking bell ringers 24, says Mike and them. Gonna make the pirate walk the plank yet again, right? Mr. Bloodline says Hogs 31, Mississippi State 28. Dom John over 100. Dragon Slayer. Score 41-21. Arkansas. Dom John 17 carries, 245 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Guys, I hope you're right, but I just have a hard time seeing any one running back. Now, if anyone could get over 100, it would be Dom John. Without a doubt, it would be Dom John. I just don't know if he ends up with those kind of numbers, though. I just don't know. I mean, Mississippi State's run defense is legit. I think there's been some concern over their DBs a little bit, but they don't get burned that often. They're pretty good at getting pressure when they want, but overall they're not overly elite at sacking the quarterback. Like, you're not about to play Ole Miss's pass rush. I embrace Archie. I embrace Arky. Deflates the opponents. Yeah, I mean, words don't bother me. Words. Someone had a really funny comment the other day, and of course I called him low IQ. But someone had a comment the other day, like, said that I haven't touched a bike in decades. And I thought about it, like, son of a bitch. He's right, though. I haven't. I haven't been on a bike. Who the hell rides bikes anymore, by the way? Richard Neal, our local Mississippi State fan, he's got Mississippi State rolling into Fayetteville with an 11-point win. The loss of Catalan, it almost feels like anything's possible. But you guys be kind to Richard Neal. He's one of the good Mississippi State fans. He's good people. He comes around when Arkansas plays Mississippi State. I think he's come through some of the basketball stuff too. I'm calling for KJ to have a big day, going deep, 200+ yards passing, which I think is possible. They do at times have a habit of giving quarterbacks, they'll show 3, 4, 5 man. They'll bring the house, and then they'll play pretty soft. Some of their fans have gotten upset about their soft cover 2. I mean, who doesn't complain about soft cover 2? Sorry I'm late. Golly, Tonka always late. How dare you? Sidewalk slam that like button. Arkansas 38, Mississippi State 24. John Hawes says this will have to be a big passing game. Mississippi State secondary is highly susceptible to the big play. Thompson and Burke should have a field. I don't know about field day. I don't know if I'm going to go that far. Oh, Lord, here he goes with the modicum. Also, modicum. Some people will not understand that. A lot of you probably won't get that one. That's that's an old school one there from John, just because I haven't made you say it. Yeah, we didn't. Who was that? Was that Kyle and I? We were like, what the hell is that? Oh, man. Like. Let's hit the likes, share the content, subscribe. For those of you that call yourselves creepers, I'm going to just dedicate you guys as the PTN creepers. And I'm going to make bumper stickers. That's what I want to do. Like, that's my next step. I want to get bumper stickers made, and I want Pig Trail Network Creeper. I want that. I was thinking about that on the ride home the other day. How funny would that be? How funny would that be? There's a lot of you, and you're slowly kind of coming forward. Like, I'm going to admit it, Ty. I'm not overly active here. I don't even have a YouTube, but I do try to catch your content. I love it, and I am a creeper. Oh, man. 64. Yeah, it's supposed to be clear. It's supposed to be beautiful. Go to Bentonville. Bicycles everywhere. I was half kidding, Robert. I was half kidding. Dude, I haven't ridden a bike or ran anywhere since I got my driver's license in 1984. Oh, it's good stuff. Edward Hatcher says 34-28. Okay. Watching, and this is what Mike and Nim says. Dirty. Every time I read your name, I think of Dirty Mike and the Boys from the other guys. Are you Dirty Mike and the Boys? Watching Coach's last presser, and it just hit me. Sam is really losing weight. Good for him if he's trying. Just hope he's doing okay. But maybe he can afford to cook. Maybe he can afford a cook to make healthy meals for him. Listen, we've been doing HelloFresh. I'm not going to lie to you. I've not had one that I haven't liked. I don't know that they're necessarily healthy or not. I don't know. They seem to be. We're eating a lot of white meats, a lot of pork and chicken. Listen, I got a friend that works in the beef. Like he works pretty high up at Sam's Club. He's a good friend of mine. We go back like 20 years. And he'll tell you that even white meat's not much better for you. And he's probably right. I don't know, but everyone else says it's at least a healthier option. But they've been great. It is expensive. We got them on a discount, and I think we're about to end. So Eagle says I'm saying 42-31 Hogs, but we aren't keeping them out of the end zone. All right, so Mike and Mary. Oh, okay. So you changed your name. All right. Have you ever seen the other guys? Dirty Mike and the Boys. It's a funny movie. Sam's weight loss may be due to stress. SEC is a hell of a drug. Yeah, for sure. For sure, for sure. So Arkansas, really quick, I wanted to touch on before we get into this breakdown. Let's kind of talk about recruiting for just a minute. Centennia, a big-time get for the Hogs. It puts them, cements them in the top 25 for now. I don't know. Listen, I don't know that they finished top 25, and I'm going to tell you why. They used 2 scholarships on special teams players. I swear, if that's a Scott Fountain thing, I don't know. If that's a Coach Fountain thing, it's pretty unheard of to have even just one special team, like a long snapper and a punter, maybe a kicker. You get like a kicker. You've used 2 spots for 2-star special teams. And look, and I know it's not all about rank. Sometimes it's just about addressing need, and maybe these are 2 areas of need. Clearly, Little has been pretty solid. All right, and I'm not taking away from that, but I feel like if I ask the majority of you, I'll just ask you, what do you think they need more? Defensive linemen, linebackers, or special teams players? And sometimes you could, look, I would argue 80% of special teams players in college football are there on preferred walk-on. They're preferred walk-ons. That includes long snappers. I don't know what the estimate is on long snappers. I'm willing to guess it's probably like 90%. And you can make the argument that, well, Arkansas isn't Alabama tie. They're not USC. No, but there's plenty of P5 schools that are even on the lower end that do not offer scholarships to special teams players. I look, maybe they're both great. You know, I think the punter is out of Australia, is highly touted. Is that the only way? I don't know. They do need a punter. I mean, we'll see what they do next year. You know, but I just don't get it. I can understand 1, but 2. And again, if it's a kicker and you see the impact that he's had, you mean you couldn't find a center in the state of Arkansas? You couldn't find a center that just, hey, come on, maybe we'll give you a scholarship down the road. I don't understand that. I don't get it. And I'm not saying that for the sake of rank. I'm saying that for the sake of depth. Good old QDM. Hashtag QDM, quality depth freaking matters. QDFM. I don't know, man. You do have 3 linebackers committed. How many defensive linemen? 2? Was it 2 defensive linemen? I would argue you probably that's where your area of need is. I guess there's another. They're expecting another commit. So if you're looking at the transfer portal, look, we talked about it. We said it yesterday. There's 2 guys in the portal right now, both out of the state of Texas, highly rated out of high school. Terence Crooks, 4-star, 6'2", 210 pounds. He was a 4-star 247 composite. On 247, he was a 3, but good size, 6'2", 210, probably an outside backer. I'm not really sure. He's out of Pearland, Texas. Played at Shadow Creek High. He was class of 2021. He clearly, that doesn't scream to me like someone who, he must be overrated and terrible. That says he probably got there and didn't like it. And by the way, it's Texas. They're probably 3 deep, even though it's the Big 12. Whatever. But it's Texas. Probably 3 or 4 deep at that position. Sometimes these kids commit, don't even bother to look at the depth chart. I can tell you that right now, based on some interviews. Sometimes they don't really even look at the depth. They just hear what the coaches tell them, like, oh, you're a guy. Next 2 years, you're going to be an impact guy. Not all coaches are the same, but maybe that's what's going on with Terence Crooks. You get him, you're going to have 4 years of eligibility. And then there's this Antonio Doyle Jr., who I think will have 3 years of eligibility. He was a unanimous 4-star. Big-bodied kid. I think he's like 6'3", 220. Thought I had his – here we go. 6'3", 230 pounds. He's out of St. Louis, Missouri. That is an area Arkansas has recruited in the past. And they're currently recruiting it now. And he's a unanimous 4-star and a highly rated 4-star. He was out of the class of 2020, so he'll have at least 3 years of eligibility. I don't know. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I'm hitting these guys up right now if you can. I think once they're in the portal, I'm not really sure how that works. Those rules are so confusing, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you need a long snapper more or a linebacker? More linebackers. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. Yeah. So you look at the Cruton page. It's all there on our Discord. Football Cruton, McAdoo, Centania, Miles Rouser, Andrew Chamblay, and Amarian Harris are all 4 stars. Manny Powell, too bad he couldn't finish out his season with Fayetteville. Manny Powell, Caden Henley, Jordan Crook are your linebackers. All are 3 stars. 2 of them NWA kids. Manny and Caden Henley. Caden Henley, who plays at Shiloh Christian. I wanted to get an eye on him this year, but I wasn't able to. They do have 3 defensive linemen. Nico Davier. I keep forgetting about Patrick Kutas. Patrick Kutas out of Memphis, Tennessee. And, of course, right down the road in Greenland, Arkansas, right down the road from the stadium, J.J. Hollingsworth. And then Eli Stein is the 2-star long snapper out of Wisconsin, and Max Fletcher, who committed recently, right? Like last week? 2 weeks ago? Wasn't that recent? Why am I feeling like that was recent? I'm pretty sure it was. So, yeah, I think really whatever they decide to do, however many spots they have left, you've got to have a focus on defensive linemen and linebackers big time. I'm not sold on what they have right now on this roster. I said at the beginning of the year, when you have 3 transfers who were not impactful players at Mizzou or wherever they're coming from. Now, Ridgeway was, I get it, he made a jump up, a big leap up from the division of football that he was in to where he's at now at Arkansas. But all 3 of these cats came in and took the jobs. Guys, that's not good. That doesn't bode well for what you have on your roster when these 3 guys, and say what you want, they fit Odom's scheme. Okay, well, what about the guys that he recruited the year before that? Well, they're freshmen. Okay. And what have they done so far? What's the production from the defensive line? And by the way, we have seen them go with a 4-man front. It's not been a multiple front this year for them. It's been primarily a 3-man front. They've rushed on average 3 to 4 players. I get it. They're not overly aggressive, but when they are, they're still not getting there. I like what Ridgeway can do, and that's why I hope they get him back. I hope he comes back. I like that he is able to absorb multiple blockers at times. He's not super consistent, and maybe they'll work on that through the offseason, assuming he comes back. I'm telling you, him and Bumper Pool both are eligible for another year. They got to get those 2 back. And Catalan as well, who's a redshirt sophomore who, because he's a third-year player, is eligible for the draft. Early signing period is December 15th through the 17th. So you've got 2 days. I think they signed very similar to last year. They're going to get a lot of them. And they need to. You need to sign them all. Get them all. Tennessee just lost a 4-star to the transfer portal. I haven't seen that. I'll take a look at that. Need a water boy. They get gas quick. Bobby Boucher. H2O. Jeff Traylor getting paid $. Yeah, I think we talked about that on Monday. He got a 10-year extension. What's he making? Like $2.5 million, I think. Making it rain. Yeah, he is. Making it rain. Hugo's. Connor says Hugo's. Right, Hugo's is another one. Kind of pricey though, right? And what's the other one on Dixon Street everyone talks about? I can't remember the name of it. I'm not even going to try. I just don't get up. I don't get out very often. So every game I've been clean shaven. We've lost. I'm back home. Beard has grown back. And now we straight. Hogs by 90. Yeah, creepers are not weirdos. That's not what a creeper is on things like YouTube and Twitch. Creepers are people who don't interact. They just simply listen, which is fine. I love that. Anybody listening, Typically, they don't have YouTube accounts. They're listening through like they just click the link and it plays. So it doesn't register as a viewer. There's someone outside the realm of YouTube watching the content, and that's fine. I love that anybody watches the content. But that's what a creeper is. It's not necessarily someone who's weird. But I'm telling you, I'm going to get those bumper stickers made. It's going to be great. Pig Trail Creeper. And then maybe we'll get some like Pig Trail Regs. Oh, those would be good names on Discord, wouldn't it? Trailer made UTSA pony up some dough for the kids too. I love that in a coach. Plus, kids get food and new locker rooms. That is awesome. $28 million for 10 years. That's awesome. Good for him, man. Good for him. He's not going to be there for 10 years. We all know that. If he continues doing what he's doing, he's gone. I mean, I don't know. Someone wants to pay him enough. He may be gone this year. I don't know. I don't know what his buyout looks like year one of the extension. I'd be surprised if he's there beyond next year. I really would. I'll be surprised if they continue doing what they're doing. I don't think Barry Loney's going to be there for very long as their offensive coordinator either. Okay. And then last but not least, well, we got a couple things left before we dive into this Mississippi State-Arkansas game. Miles Rouser, Eli Stein, the long snapper, and Centania are all going to be playing in the high school, the All-American game in January, so that's really cool. So you do have 3 representatives. There's some that believe Rouser might get a significant bump in this next round of bumps that I think happen typically. I think you start seeing them again in November. That'd be a really good question for Trey Biddy or Danny West. Or on Rivals. Go ask those guys when they're. I don't really. I'll be honest. I primarily stick with 247. No disrespect to Hogbeat or to those guys at Rivals. It's just what happens when you pull up recruiting. It's always the first thing you look at, and it's just a habit. They do great. Both 247 and Hogbeat do awesome. I like what they do, and I try to read as much of their Freed content as I can. Also, in the very last thing here, we'll talk about Little Rock Pulaski Academy. Charlie Pfizer, 6'1", 200-pound pocket passing quarterback, I guess was offered as a preferred walk-on by the University of Arkansas. I think that was actually a few days ago, or maybe it was sometime late last week. It slipped by me, but they have reached out, I guess. And I believe that was reported on by Otis Kirk. So Arkansas has offered a Charlie Pfizer as a preferred walk-on. If you look at his numbers, they're pretty ridiculous this year. 9 games that he's played in so far, 3,300 yards passing, 60% completion percentage. He's averaging 16 yards per reception, 372 yards per game, 39 passing touchdowns. It just says touchdowns. I don't know if those are – he's a pocket passing quarterback, so I'm assuming those are all passing touchdowns. But 39, he does have 8 picks on the year, but his quarterback rating, according to Max Preps, is 120.5. And I thought one of the smaller Louisiana schools had thrown an offer out, but I didn't double-check that. But I want to say Monroe or Louisiana, someone had offered him a legit scholarship. But again, he's 6'1", 200 pounds, and he is a senior this year. Plays lacrosse also. So, yeah. For you lacrosse freaks out there. Scott Swindle need this notch on our belt. Yeah, they do. Basketball starts next Tuesday. Isn't it amazing? I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait. We are next Monday. We're going to focus on. We're of course going to have a reaction to the game, a Monday reaction show, and of course we're going to focus on Mercer in Arkansas. We're going to break that down. That's when all of a sudden this whole thing changes. New drinking game. Take a shot every time an Ole Miss player goes down with a cramp. You'll be hammered by the end of the first quarter. Oh boy, Donley Deason. I know that fella. Do you think that works in this offense? I feel like the mobility is huge at quarterback for Arkansas's offense. Yeah, the way Kendall operates the veer and shoot. Franks, I think, he wasn't a true pocket passing quarterback, but he really was a pocket passing quarterback after the surgery and the season-ending injury that he endured at Florida. He became more of a pocket quarterback, but you see now in the NFL he's got wheels. I think it can work, but it's more effective if you're able to roll out of the pocket, and extend plays. KJ has clearly shown that, right? I mean, look how much more effective he is than Felipe Franks was last year. It's not a hit on him at all, but Franks, who had the arm, that's really all he had to rely on. It made the offense more – it seemed like it was just so much more one-dimensional, and it felt like Kendall was trying to fit a square peg in a round hole with a more pocket passing style of a quarterback. So I don't know. I don't know if they're maybe he is more mobile than we think. Again, you know how this works. These kids show up to camps and if they don't do reps running the ball, and if let's say they throw in the air raid. Well, air raid, a lot of the offenses that operate, unless you're in the Big 12, most air raid offenses have just a straight up stand in the pocket passing quarterback. Maybe that's kind of what they do. We know Pulaski Academy does things a little differently down there. I don't know much about his actual his 40 time. If I'm sure he's athletic. It seems like today the standard pocket passing quarterback is just a thing of the past, and it's made offenses more dynamic. And I got to give Nunley Deason here, who is a fan of the Big 12. He's a good friend of mine. Nunley and I talk about another guy I go back with, former roommate of mine actually. Oh, Nunley. Are your Oklahoma Sooners going to go? Are they playing? Look, you know how I feel about the Big 12. It's just I don't think it's that great of a conference. But Oklahoma has been one of the most bizarre teams, undefeated teams I have ever seen. I think they get to the playoffs. Look, they're going to beat Oklahoma State. To me, that's their only roadblock. And from that point on, they're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to be there. I'm curious how they respond. But what's up, Ty? Sorry I'm late. What's up, Hoyt? How you doing, man? Another Nunley. Love it. Yeah. He's a good dude. Nunley Deason. Good dude. Yeah. So, Arkansas, Mississippi State. Let's start it off. Well, first off, we got to show the helmet. Let's start off. If those of you who missed it, here's the helmet. Boom. Look at that. Oh, isn't that sweet? It's got all the branches of the military there. Isn't that cool? That is awesome. I'm really happy they're doing that. That's really cool. Good for them. And then for those of you who hadn't seen this, maybe you weren't. Boom. Now they did this same. I still have that sticker in my bathroom from 2011 when they did the 10-year anniversary. Isn't that sweet? That is badass. I don't know about you guys. That's pretty sweet. That's cool. I'm glad they're doing that. So, yeah. Oh, look at that art that I did. Isn't that awesome? Posted that on Twitter. I hope you guys caught some of that. Centennia. It's not Centegna. It's Centennia. All right. Let's get into this Arkansas-Mississippi State game. This is going to be a fun one. Maybe a little bit of you're probably going to develop some ulcers along the way. This is going to be tough. So look at what these guys do on defense. So Mississippi State. Now, by the way, QB Spotlight has a good breakdown. You guys need to go watch it. And I talked a little bit about a lot of what I say here you'll hear on the Mark Rogers, but there's some other stuff there too. Mark is a good dude. Mark's he's good at his questions. I like how he just lets you have the floor and do your thing. But so shout out to Mark Rogers. You guys go be sure and check that out. Watch that interview. Starting with their defense, MSU will show you all kinds of different looks in the box. They'll rush 3, drop everyone else back, or every once in a while they'll rush 4 or 5 after the quarterback. They can be really aggressive when blitzing. They're big and quick and really well balanced front 6, 7. the guys they keep in the box, very athletic. 16 total sacks on the year, 7 of which have come from linebackers. They rank 78th. Like I said, they will rush a quarterback, but they've also been prone to just letting a quarterback sit back and dissect a defense. And this is where, and people are talking about KJ's arm. I think there's a point to be made here. Look, Arkansas's offensive line, you're getting Dalton Wagner back up front at right tackle, so no more Ty Clary over there. You're going to be floating him around elsewhere probably throughout the game. So that's going to be huge for them, and that's something Mississippi State's going to have to deal with. Dalton Wagner's a big piece of that puzzle up front on the offensive line. Offensive line, other than the Georgia game, for the most part, has been just solid this year. Say what you want about the Auburn debacle and the sack in the end zone. That was more of a play calling. Like I said, Kendall Briles' situational awareness has got to be on a scale of 1 to 10, I don't know, problematic. His situational awareness, play calling awareness is just so bizarre. You're gonna shotgun your quarterback with his heels almost touching the out of bounds of the back of the end zone. Are you kidding me? What are you doing? Of course you're in trouble. And the play before that, you give up a sack. Of course. I'm telling you, man, his situational awareness when it comes to play calling is just strange. Great play caller, great offensive mind. But you're gonna have. I don't put that one on the offensive line. I put that on Kendall Briles. I don't know. Well, we can get into what they allow KJ to do and not do. I don't know if he could have audibled out of that or not. Should they have burned a timeout? Seems like the sidelines control that that's pretty common. A lot of the sidelines control the timeouts, but I just don't know what that was. To this day, that's going to drive me crazy all year, and it has. I think I've almost lost sleep over that. You guys heard me in the post game. That was just, I don't get it. 78th in the country in sacks, like I said, 16 total. Their third down defense has been a little up and down, but steadily in the middle. They're about 45th, which is not bad considering there's 131 or 130 teams. They're 45th, so they're right in the middle of it all. Run D is elite. This is one of the best run defenses Arkansas has played since Georgia. We saw how Georgia's front 6, front 7 were kind of able to control what was going on at the line of scrimmage. They're pretty good defending the East-West run game. We know they can dogpile the middle. They're very difficult to run on. They've given up 715 yards, an average of just south of 3.4 yards per run play, only 4 rushing touchdowns in 90 yards rushing per game. This is two really good, a great elite. I would argue Arkansas's run offense, considering it's more of a power run, even though it's the veer and shoot, high tempo RPO. Let's be real, what it is. Especially now, you're going to have almost 480 pounds coming at the defense this weekend with KJ and Dominic Johnson, and probably a good dose of Raheem Sanders. Change of pace with Traylon and AJ Green. That's going to be your rotation in your backfield this week. This is like a two really solid, elite at what they do teams that are going to crash. Something's got to give. Secondary has been suspect at times this year. They rank 63rd in the country, giving up around 220 yards per game, 15 passing touchdowns. How many passing touchdowns does KJ have on the year? Oh, yeah, 15. 20 total touchdowns on the year, too, by the way. Red zone defense has been pretty vanilla, but have only given up 6 total touchdowns there, the rest being field goals. 34 total tackles for loss, which is about 4 TFLs per game, ranks them roughly about 90th, 89th, 90th, somewhere in the back there. Not great there, but again, how much of that is because their eye is on the prize, chasing the quarterback and not paying attention to what's happening in front of them, And again, they're not an elite pass rush. We know their bread and butter is what they can do on offense. Now, Will Rogers, when you consider how much this cat throws the ball and what he did last week, what was he, 36 of 39? Are you kidding me? Like, that's unheard of in high school. That's unheard of in high school. You didn't see Mitch Mustaine and the Springdale Five do that, and I watched them play. We watched Nunley and I, as a matter of fact, I think watched them at least once or twice. That didn't happen often. To be doing that at this level is incredible. Now, how are they doing that? Ty, they're going all over the place. They're throwing the ball everywhere. They're going deep. No, not really. Not really. Hold up. What they do is it's nickel and dime. Their average pass completion is like 8.5 to 9 yards. They're throwing a lot of check down, hitch routes, comeback routes, short and intermediate throws. Did see some crossing routes, things like that, But they don't run the ball. They're not a traditional run team, but they'll run it out of the screen. They'll throw. That's how they run the ball. It's basically screen plays out in the flats, smoke and tunnel screens to the weak or strong side. And I can't dive into all the analytics and every little thing that they do. And, I'm not QB spotlight over here, but I can tell you what they do, and they do it really well. Is they find a crease, they find the open gap if you're playing like soft cover 2 zone, they're going to find the gap and they're going to nickel and dime you. And Rogers is damn good at doing it. Now they can go over the top. We know Arkansas since his injury against A&M, they've been a little suspect on the deep ball. Monteric Brown gave up a deep ball. Who was that? Was that against Ole Miss? Hudson Clark, Ladarius Bishop, even Fouché has been beat a couple times this year downfield. So they might try to go deep. They may try to go with these go and fade routes downfield because Arkansas is a little suspect on the back end of their coverage, the back end of the defense. What's going to be key here, again, and I feel like we say this every damn week, get to the quarterback, get him uncomfortable. I just don't see Arkansas doing that this weekend. Pressuring him is going to be tough. I mean, he is not sacked a ton. And this is not an offensive line. By the way, they've got a first-round prospect on this offensive line. They got a couple of guys that are pretty damn good up front. This is going to be tough. And this is not a week I looked for Arkansas. It's going to come down to probably special teams and what Arkansas is able to do on offense through the air and how much maybe you can get some of these corners and safeties and linebackers to jump these routes because it's going to be a lot of short and intermediate throws. But, again, they'll go over the top of you. Don't be surprised if they throw over the top a lot with Catalon gone. Yeah, with no Cat, that's a problem. Catalon, who – he had great breaking speed, right? And he was very reactionary, and he was good at not biting on play fakes and on what would I guess you call play action out of the RPO. He was really good about read and react, something we talk about often here. He's really good at reading and reacting and backing off in coverage and recovering. That's something else safeties and linebackers do, this thing where if they take a wrong step in the wrong direction because they bit off the play fake or the RPO, they thought the back had it or the quarterback kept it and they're running the opposite direction, there's this thing you do called recovery where now you've got to drop back and do whatever. If you're in zone coverage, now you're recovering back into your spot where you're supposed to be covering that part of the field. If you're playing zone coverage, if you're in man, sometimes you're already beat. It's too late. That's why a lot of defenses run a lot of the soft cover 2 zone in the secondary. This is gonna be one of those games where Rodgers, you don't want to let him sit back and just dissect the defense and do what he needs to do, especially when you've got Ladarius Bishop who's playing. I don't know if he's playing or not. I don't know what capacity we're going to have Bishop. We know Catalon's out. Monteric Brown sustained an injury a couple of weeks ago and was seen limping around. I think they're good to go, but you wonder how much of an impact those guys, what they'll have playing with some of those injuries. We know last year, again, we found out in the fall, oh, wait, these guys were actually playing with injuries. Oh, it turns out Bumper Pool had cracked ribs throughout the entire season and still was top 3 in the SEC in tackles. That's incredible. We found out the last week of fall camp that Raheem Sanders went through spring camp with a ankle sprain. Obviously wasn't super serious, but how big was that, having him through spring? And you wonder why he's so much further ahead compared to that of A.J. Green, who was not here during spring camp. But that's not his fault. He's a track guy, and you people who know track tell me it's life. Track is that life. Just like Santana, he's a track guy. So, their offense, zero doubt. MSU is very capable of throwing the ball through 8 games, 2,900 yards. well, at the time when I wrote this, they were about 8 yards per reception, but they're averaging close to 371 yards per game, ranking them as the number 5 passing offense in the country. Now, one of the issues has been the yak, yards after catch, and they're pretty good at it. I think they're top 8 in the country in yards after catch or something crazy like that. They're tough to tackle in the open field. Luckily for Arkansas, even with Catalon gone, they're still pretty decent at open field tackling. I would argue that Morgan, his production's kind of stepped back a little bit. Obviously Slusher's there to absorb the loss of Catalon, who is a pretty solid open field tackler, but he's not Jalen Catalon. Slusher's not Jalen Catalon. So Will Rogers, again, he went 36 of 39 for 344 in a score against that salty Kentucky defense who was coming out of a Georgia game the week before. MSU racked up 430 total yards of offense against the Wildcats. Will Rogers on the year is throwing an incredibly impressive 75%. And again, at the time I had him at 7 yards per completion. I think it's closer to 9. Also leads the country in total completion percentage. That's what you got to deal with Will Rogers. This is going to be a matchup. I'm telling you, MSU is top 6 in the country in yards. It's top 6 in the country in yards after catch, but they only average about 9 yards per reception. But they bunt their way down the field. As I typed it out here, they bunt their way down the field. Again, what I've seen, what I've witnessed, and just watching them play, it's not deep ball throws. It's not slot fades like what Arkansas does with Burks. It's not go routes, Hail Mary routes left and right. It's a lot of nickel and diming. But they are capable of going over the top. And like my good friend Nunley said, don't be afraid or don't be surprised if they try to go over the top with Catalon out. So they run the ball by throwing it. This isn't what you probably think the air raid actually is. They'll run screens and short check down throws all day long, and again the way they run is through smoke screens, tunnel screens, things like that, and they will throw to their backs. Little West Coasty there when you're throwing to your back. They will do that from time to time. They again, very, very impressive on offense. This is what, last year people kind of overreacted to how just not great they were during a COVID year, and now this year we're seeing exactly what Leach is capable of. He brings with him, it's very similar to what he did at Texas Tech, and we know what he was able to do there, Washington State, and now he's here. Mississippi State. So, yeah. How do you deal with it? I don't know. I think the key is gonna have to be getting pressure, not letting Will Rogers danger. I don't know why that popped into my head. Damn you, ADD. But the answer I have for you is you got to be disruptive in the backfield. Got to slip past that offensive line one way or another. Whether that's blitzing Brooks, bringing the house, but then with the way this offense works, it's similar to how Arkansas does things with the RPO, where a defense bites on the RPO. Either you give or you keep or you throw. And overly aggressive defenses, the RPO is built to handle those kind of defenses because now your linebackers are biting on the RPO and now you're going over the top. It's the same thing with their route design and the way they design their route trees. They're going to nickel and dime you down the field. And then all of a sudden you're biting on those underneath throws, trying to keep everything in front of you, which is what Arkansas does. That's what they do. That's what Barry Odom's, that's what he said when he got here. We're going to keep everything in front of us. That's what we've seen. They are pretty decent at that. And now all of a sudden you're biting down on those underneath routes, on those short hits routes and comeback routes and whatever, the underneath crossing routes, and now they got guys going over the top of you on the boundaries on the outside, and you're man-to-man coverage with either Bishop or Monteric Brown or Hudson, whoever they have out there. There's a lot to consider. This is a tough game to pick, man. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a tough game to pick. I didn't come to a decision until yesterday, and I was talking to Mark Rogers. In fact, I was filling out his pick'ems, his pick'ems list, and that's when I sat there and I just thought harder about it, and I kind of went back between some notes I had jotted down, and I made my pick. So we'll get to that in just a second. Let me get caught up on the chat here. Over under the Hogs get 30 rush attempts. That's a good question, Grayson. Really hope they can slow the game down. That's very true. Slot guys running go routes will be an issue. Says Donnelly. Hoyt says home field advantage plus 3.5. So I haven't actually looked at the hang on. What is the – I didn't even have the Razorback game up on ESPN. Hang on. Did the line change? Did they change the it was 5. It was 5. Hang on. Let me pull it up here. Is it still 5? Arkansas's favored on their FPI at 59.5%, or just shy, about 59.4. It did change. So now it's 4.5 with the over-under at 55. So, yeah. Arkansas, who averages 465 yards of offense a game, to Mississippi State's 425. Again, when you factor in they don't have a true north-south run game, that's still pretty impressive in this league, in the SEC. I don't know what his ceiling is. Talking about Leach, I don't know what his ceiling is in the SEC. It's hard to sit back and throw the ball 50 times a game, 40 times a game, even if it's, a lot of underneath stuff or whatever. It's still hard to do in this league because of the size, the strength, the speed, the athleticism, the first, second, third round NFL talent that's all over these defenses. You can say what you want about certain bowl matchups. You can say what you want about their rank in the year, but the truth is the best overall defensive talent is still in this league, and that's one of the reasons why the air raid, in fact, you would think it would do the opposite and be more effective with high tempo and what have you, but last year, and I would even argue this year, again, it's not like they're world beaters. They're 5-3. You beat Arkansas, you're 6-3. They're probably still looking at 7-5, 8-4. That's a hell of a right step in the right direction for Mississippi State. I don't know what his ceiling is. I just don't. He has a tendency, if you look at his defensive coordinators, every once in a while, he's able to pull a pretty damn good defensive coordinator, and he's had guys go on and had great success. And their defense this year is good. And they've got some true SEC size and athleticism with their front 6, front 7. That's why they're so good on the run. But, again, they are a little suspect through the air. So this is a tough game. If you haven't put your prediction in, go ahead. I'm about to give mine. Let me get back to chat here really quick. Rogers will throw interceptions. He does. He has 7 picks on the year. He does tend to have a little bit too much faith in his arm. In a good air raid system, you don't have the time to get there. That's by design, right? Yeah. These scammers, I swear. Gonna miss Marshall pushing the center into the pocket, gets the quarterback off his spot. Yeah, not having a true anchor of a nose tackle, someone who can really and do that consistently like Jonathan Marshall was able to do. It hits, man. That's hard to absorb, and I just don't think they've done it. Ridgeway has shown at times he's capable of doing it, but we haven't seen it consistently enough. He's just not there. I don't know if he needs to lose some LBs. I don't know what the case is. Maybe that's just what he is. Maybe that's his ceiling. I'm not sure. Tunka Todd says, with Arkansas running the 3 safety defense, it's traditionally it's not the 3-4, it's a 3-2-6, but it's what we thought we were going to get all along was the base nickel, right? The 4-2 defense, 2 linebackers, and then running a third safety as your nickel. Some defenses utilize a little bit bigger, more athletic corner, and then they turn them into safeties. Arkansas has Brooks running that position, but they don't run the 4-2. They run a 3-2. with everyone else being DBs on the field. And you do that so you could fly to the ball. You could attack the outside, the edges, out in the flats. It's hard to set the edge against the Razorbacks. And a lot of that's because they have really good read-react linebackers and Bumper Pool and Grant Morgan, Hayden Henry, but also because of guys like Brooks, Fouché, and at the time, Catalan. These guys that fly to the ball. It's that time of year, man. Injuries stacking up. Let's see. Although Kentucky did get him. Let's see. Although Kentucky did get to him on the edge and up the middle, sent a lot of pressure. David Coleman says MSU 38-34. John Hawes, this may be a good game for Clark too. Have him sit underneath. Kids got good burst and can definitely jump those underneath as long as he has help over the top. He's not someone I want running man. I'll tell you that downfield. I have no faith in him to run man coverage downfield. Has Ty said his prediction? Yeah, I'm about to do that right now. About to give my prediction right now. So again, get your predictions in if you haven't already. I think a lot of you already have. Remember to like, subscribe if you guys haven't already. That goes for you creepers too. Okay? It goes for you creepers too. All right, so Mississippi State, with how good they are at stopping the run, is troubling. But we have seen Arkansas play some pretty. I mean, Texas A&M is a good example. Now they're not the run defense that Mississippi State is, but we know the ceiling that front seven had. They are chock full with more talent than Mississippi State up front. On defense, their linebackers, better depth at those positions. And Arkansas did a really good job keeping them off balance, keeping them kind of offset. I think you see some of that. The only time I picked against the Hogs this year was against Georgia, which clearly they lost that game. You go back to the Ole Miss-Arkansas game when I picked Arkansas to win that game. Arkansas was quite literally one play away from winning that game. You go to Auburn. That score is not reflective of what really happened. Go back and watch the game. And it's tough to pick. And I look, it is what it is, but I like the Hogs. Because Mississippi State does remind me a little bit of A&M on defense, and Arkansas was able to move around on them pretty easily. In the first half especially, they got out to that big lead. Then KJ goes down in the third quarter. He comes back late in the fourth quarter, and he does exactly what KJ's done all year. In KJ, I trust. And another reason why I like Arkansas, they're coming out of a bye week. They're getting healthy. They got Dalton Wagner back. Utsy's back. They're getting guys healthier. We'll find out what's going on with Bishop for sure this week. Hopefully he's good to go. This is a game that could suit someone like Hudson Clark or these corners that are good at playing that, backed off zone coverage. This does kind of feed into what they do well. Remember last year what they were able to do, and I know last year was last year, but Mississippi State is essentially a very similar offense with similar personnel what they had a year ago, similar play calling. The difference is they're executing better. But Arkansas given a bye week, and then you factor in their week before their bye, they played UAPB. I mean, let's be honest. They rested everybody up. At the bottom of the second quarter, they had twos in. In the third quarter, they were rotating twos and threes. They had a solid 2 weeks to get ready for this game, and it's in Fayetteville. I think they get close to 62, 64 in attendance. I think they get close to 65. I'm having a hard time seeing them get anything over that, but if they do, more power to them. But that stadium is loud. We're finally getting an idea of how loud that north end zone can get, even with that gap, that hideous gap that they have. I just think this game, it favors them. Mississippi State, even though they beat Kentucky and they did a good job, that's still a physical game to bounce back from, despite them winning and doing a really good job and looking good in doing so. But at the same time, Kentucky, look, man, you look at the experience, the super seniors, how long Stoops has been there. They're overrated. I've never bought into the Kentucky hype. Quarterback is better than I thought he would be. But I just think they're so overrated, and it's a good game. Now, did that do a lot for their confidence? Mississippi State probably, and that's something to consider. Again, Will Rogers is good. I've told you guys. I do think this is going to be a very close game, but I'm not going to lay out scenarios because anything could happen. This is so freaking similar. We're seeing more and more of these, especially because Arkansas is playing better football. They're playing there's a better product, a better finished product on the field. And that's making these games harder to predict. And you look at Mississippi State, who's outperformed. I didn't think they'd be in this situation at this point in the season. I really thought they were 4-8, maybe 5-7. I really thought that's what they were. They've proven me wrong, and Will Rogers has looked a lot better. Their defense has been the biggest surprise. But I like Arkansas. Now, scoring, this could either be a low 20s or a low 30s. I'm going to stay somewhere in between. I think it's somewhere around the spread, but I'm going to take Arkansas 30, Mississippi State 21. I think they get 3 scores, and maybe they do it early. And look, they're good enough. They could rack up 5-6 scores. They really could. But I like Arkansas's ability to respond this week. Slusher is hopefully good to go. He's had a week and a half to prepare. Monteric Brown sounds like he should be the healthiest he's been. You don't have Catalan, that's a bummer. But you get Utzi back. That's more bodies to rotate. We'll see what they do with their front on defense. This might be a week where you have to run with a 3 front, but then you just blitz a lot from your nickel, or I don't know. I don't know what they do. Maybe you go with a 4 front. And you hope that you could blitz and get pressure. But I feel like, you're giving Odom this amount of time. I like what he can do here. I really do. I like their ability to respond. I am concerned. I am. And look, this game too is going to tell you exactly where. I mean, it's not going to define the rest of the season because we've got this whole Ed Orgeron LSU situation that just looks like a catastrophe. It's the Titanic. It just struck the iceberg and it's sinking. It feels like they're kind of letting go of the ropes. You heard what he said to the media on Monday. Are you kidding me? Alabama's Alabama, but then you got Mizzou, who is a disaster of a SEC East team, and that's saying a whole hell of a lot. I like Arkansas's chances of beating Mississippi State, and then we'll kind of take it from there. If they lose, they lose. And I do think Mississippi State is a capable football team. They are. They really could shock the world and finish with a far better record than many people guessed. Yours truly included. I think we run the ball effectively or efficiently with Dom John at the helm. That's the other part of this. Talked a lot about their defense. I like what Arkansas could do on offense. You give KJ time, we have seen him do a pretty good job of dissecting defenses. And I think Mississippi State, now look, they will jump routes. They will jump routes and snag some takeaways. Will Rogers is he's more prone to throwing INTs than KJ is, but it wouldn't shock me if KJ throws 1 or 2 in this one. They will jump routes. They'll roll the dice. And I think that's part of the reason why they've given up some yards through the air. But you give KJ, he talked about it in an interview, 2 seconds. That's how long he has to go through his reads, right? I think it was 2.5 seconds to go through all of his reads. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, boom. Now you got to hit your guy. That's probably going to be about accurate, but I feel like Mississippi State at times is going to give him 3.5. Going to give him time to look and dissect the secondary and make good reads. I know some people are way overly critical about every read that he makes. I think he's capable of dissecting this Mississippi State defense. Now, if they completely shut down Arkansas's run game, it's going to change the dynamics of this game, but you're still going to have KJ's ability to dissect defenses. And there have been times where he has struggled a little bit, but there's also been times you go back to Ole Miss, you go back to early on that game against A&M. You know how good that defense was playing at the time, really good. He made it look like he was just out there having fun. It looked easy. I think he can do that again, especially coming off a bye. So, Wally and Ford, Mississippi State wide receivers, will have big games. I'll bet you lunch. Look, I'm not betting anything because Arkansas secondary without Catalan has been suspect. Again, they're a little banged up. Anything can happen. I do believe Will Rogers probably will rack up some good yardage. I'm not going to disagree with that. I'm not betting you anything, Donnelly. You probably owe me $5 in a couple of CDs I let you borrow 20 years ago, sir. What CD did you have of mine forever? It's like Trapped or some shit. All right, guys. Yeah, what I say, 30-21. I think it's going to be somewhere in there. I think I used to not even do these score predictions, but I like Arkansas to win this thing by at least a score and a little more. I'll say that. But I'll say 30 to 21. I'll say that. Is that what I said earlier, or was it 31-21? We'll say 30 to 21. KJ haters need to chill. You can't argue with the simple fact he has gotten better game after game. I think last I saw he's one of like 6 quarterbacks to have 1,700 yards throwing and 400 yards rushing or something. He's doing a great job. And look, he doesn't make great reads every time. He doesn't. And again, like I said, he could throw a pick or two in this one. He really could. He's definitely due some, right? But sometimes a guy is able to kind of overcome some of that. So if the refs, that's another thing you're going to have to deal with. But luckily you're at home at least with the officiating. Barry needs to earn his paycheck this week, and that's a good point. Damn hard game to call. For whatever reason, Hogs have been busting me during these SEC games. Got to get a win this weekend. 35-31 Hogs. Yeah, they probably will score more than 21. But I don't know. Odom getting a little bit of time, getting the ability to kind of lick your wounds a little bit. You've had 2 weeks to digest what you're going to do and how you're going to call this game against Mississippi State. Maybe we see early season Odom rear his head and have a great game. I think I still owe Columbia House. Oh my gosh, that reminds me, right? David Coleman, I know last year different. Last year different. How we do last year coming off a bye, or did we have any? Yeah, they had a bye. I don't remember who the game was though afterwards. My prediction is with no overtime. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So you heard it. 30 to 21. Ask me my confidence level on that. It's like a 2. Because I do think Mississippi State probably will put up more points. But they'll put up more than 21. But I really like Arkansas's odds to respond. And I think too, like Sam Pittman said on Paul Feinbaum or talking to the media where he said we got to start winning SEC games. I think he means what he says. I think he understands that. You're 1-3 in conference play. It's time now. You get an opportunity. You take it. You've only got 2 more games at Fayetteville. This one in Mizzou. He's right. It's time to start winning games. You scratched my CD, All right, Woo Pig. I'll see you guys on the post-game show tomorrow. Go Hogs. And until then, let's look one more time at this beautiful art. Look at that. Oh, your boy did that. Look at that art. Isn't that just great? Also, shout out, we're getting where to go. Remember, come on, pull up you. Well, now it doesn't want to pull up. There it is. You're going to have those on the back of the helmets. Isn't that just awesome? And then one more. We're getting this for Saturday as well. All right? Okay. I'll see you guys on tomorrow after the game. And I will be at the Harbor game tonight. Again, if any of you guys are going to be there, I'm going to watch the future Razorback Centennia roast this Harbor secondary, hopefully. Go Purple Dogs. I'll see you guys tomorrow.